I definitely say contact Legacy Locators. I give them, if I had more thumbs, I don't want more thumbs, but 2 thumbs up, 5 stars for sure. They've earned every star on Google review. Hey crazies, it's your girl Daisy. I have this major, huge life update. You ready? So I moved from New York to Dallas, DFW area. Yes, I moved from New York to Texas. Ain't it crazy? It's crazy. I know, but you know what? The creator, placed it on my heart and my spirit to really just relocate to Dallas. And it was just something that I couldn't disobey. It was something I felt strongly. It was something I felt for a few years actually before I made the move, but it just wasn't the right time. And the way it happened, things just aligned perfectly, and it allowed me to move because that is the time that he wanted me to move. So I decided to create this video to share my experience and hopefully help someone, because I know I did a lot of research before I actually made the move. And it was so crazy because I literally had to move in less than a month. So I am hoping that the tips that I shared today can help someone in the same situation, or someone who's actually planning for a much longer move. That's fine too. Do your thing, boo. Tip number 1 is to do your research. So research the areas in Dallas, DFW area. And then by that, once you learn what the reputation is, you can go on Reddit. You can just type in Reddit/Dallas or DFW. I don't know. But I know Reddit is a really good resource for a lot of people. So I figured to just throw it out there. Read some threads, join Facebook groups, and I'll definitely link, as I continue this video, I'll talk about some of the Facebook groups that I joined and some of the resources that I use, and I'll link it all below so that you guys have everything in the description box. Research the type of areas that you would possibly be interested in. Are you interested in something more urban, something that's closer to the city, a place where you may not have to commute as much or drive as far to get to what would possibly be your job, or just anything in general, shopping, grocery stores, you name it, if you want to be by a train. I'm from New York City originally, and I lived in other places in New York State, but I grew up taking the train. So I know right off the bat, it would take me sometimes 2 hours to get somewhere from Brooklyn, where I'm originally from, to, let's say, maybe Upper Manhattan. Research the rent in those areas. So have an idea of what your budget is and go based off of that. Like, there's no sense in looking at apartments that are $1,700 if you could only afford an apartment that's $1,000, $1,100, right? So just be mindful, because a big move like this, a long distance move, there's things that are going to come up that are not planned for. Things you may not even be aware of. Definitely have at least 3 months of what would be your rent saved, and then plan for any emergencies or anything like that. Look at reviews. So I already mentioned Reddit. Go on Google, go on Yelp, go on Facebook, go on YouTube. Okay, binge watch a ton of apartment tours, apartment videos, and just people's experience with relocating. So you have an idea of what will work for you or what won't work for you, so you're better prepared. And I'll actually list in the description box some other areas that are pretty decent, into account what your gender is as well. Like, I know myself as a woman, I want to live in an area, or I wanted to live in an area that is considered safe, that has decent form of security in my complex so that I have that safe feeling. So tip number 2, find an apartment locator. That right there, it's gonna change your life. Like when I say the apartment locator that I use, her name is Sherri from Legacy Locators. Her and Hunter Wright from Legacy Locators are very helpful, but I personally worked with Sherri. And I can't tell you how much time she saved me with the process. So I went on Google, I did my little typey thing to research, and one of the companies that popped up, I contacted them first because that was what I had initially saw. I didn't hear back for a whole business day. I think it was like a Monday when I sent this message out. So I actually called on Wednesday, like, hey, I sent a message on Monday via email. Just wanted to follow up. I'm interested in moving from New York to Dallas. And they seemed fine initially, for sure. So I gave them my requirements. I gave them my budget because I had researched areas. I gave them the areas I was interested in. I gave them the number of bedrooms that I was interested in as well, and like the amenities that I was looking for. So I knew for myself I was looking for a luxury apartment. In Dallas, I hear a lot about the hailstorms or the rainstorms, and it can be pretty drastic from some people's experience. Depends where you live, I suppose. It's not a frequent occurrence, but the fact that it could be a possibility. I didn't want to take the chance of having anything happen to my vehicle due to Mother Nature's activity. I figured why not move to an apartment complex that had a covered parking garage so that I just kind of mitigate those little issues that pop up. Told him I was looking for an apartment complex that had a fitness center because your girl gotta get the workout in. He sent me a list back the next day. So it was an emailed link through their database service. And so I'm telling you about this experience because the list was completely not what I had asked. And it was just such a terrible experience, actually. I gave him a certain budget. He exceeded the budget by thousands of dollars. So basically what it looked like, it kind of looked as if he had went on Google himself and just typed in, although it was through their own private database service, but it just seemed as if it was a Google search of apartment complexes in Dallas, Texas. That's literally what it seemed like because I had 2-bedroom apartments listed and I only wanted a 1-bedroom. And then I had, a certain budget, and some of the places, didn't accept animals or things like that. And I was like, that's not gonna work for me. So I didn't really feel comfortable with that experience from that company. So anyway, I continued my Google search and I continued researching, and then eventually find out about Sherri from Legacy Locators. And I'm like, okay, why not? So let me email her as well. And I'm gonna leave Sherri's information in my description box below. But Sherri is absolutely fantastic. So it was a completely different experience than the first locator. And I'm actually glad that I trusted my intuition because when I had my first phone conversation with Sherri, I instantly knew. It was like love at first phone conversation, okay? She was just so patient, so warm, just so inviting. So I sent Sherri an email with a few of my requirements, like the 1-bedroom, the kitchen island, the fitness center, my budget. And then she responded back with what areas was I interested in moving to. So that's why I say, do the research first if you can. But if you don't, I highly recommend Sherri from Legacy Locators and Hunter. They're phenomenal people. They know what they're talking about. They have amazing connections here in the area. Just very thorough, very precise. They would literally go above and beyond to help you. And I felt that. She always made me feel like a priority. And it's so funny too, when you Google the company, you see that they have over 80 reviews and it's 5-star reviews. It's rare that you come across a company that has strictly 5-star reviews with more than one review. So yeah, I sent her an email with my requirements, my needs, my wants, my budgets in the area. Then she responded back with a link from their database, kind of with all the apartments that met that criteria. Anytime I had a question, because with such a big move like that, I felt like I had a lot of questions. She responded right away or responded within a business day to my inquiries. And so I just felt like I didn't have to wait too long for a response. I basically ranked the apartments that I was interested in based off of just price, location, proximity from the job, and just the amenities and how it looked, right? Because it is hard to tell from a picture. And with COVID and everything going on right now in the pandemic, everything is virtual. So I'm the kind of person, I would prefer not to sign a lease before I see the apartment. I need to actually see the apartment. And that is another reason why I think it's really important to have an apartment locator, because they can kind of tell you, like, if it's a genuine, trustworthy locator, they can tell you, hey, this area is not known to be the best. If safety is one of your concerns, maybe you should consider this other area. They will tell you if it's a genuine one. At least with Sherry, she was very transparent. I sent her the list of places that I liked and I ranked them. And then what she did was she responded back to the apartments that I had listed, and she actually put her opinion on the apartments that I sent, which was kind of amazing. And especially because I moved from New York, so I'm moving from out of state to a state that I don't really know that well, right? So that for me was a game changer. She actually wrote paragraphs of the apartment complexes in her opinion, like telling me if there was construction in the area, which is super important. Like one of the apartment complexes that I really liked, and that's not something that you can see on the website. And if you're doing things virtually, that's not something you're gonna know, because I'm not sure if the complex is going to outrightly tell you these things. So when she had said to me, she wrote a paragraph about the apartment, all the apartment complexes. I think I had sent her a list of like 8 to 10 back that I was interested in. And so she took the time to really write a paragraph about all of them, or what are the surrounding activities or restaurants, things of that nature. And that was another question she asked me, is basically what my social life is like. I don't know what your stance is, whoever's watching this video, like if you are interested in dining out, even with the whole pandemic going on right now, or if you just want to stay home to yourself, that's fine. I just know that I do enjoy dining out, obviously safely, socially distanced, of course. So coming from New York, where everything was a lockdown, you know, it was just like outdoor dining in the snow, basically. So for me, this was going to be a big change, right? Because I hadn't done it for several months at that point in time. So anyway, she told me about the one apartment complex that had construction going on. So, and she gave me her honest opinion. She was like, hey, you know, they're constructing this new building right across the street. It's gonna be like a year-long process, basically. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna nix that one out, because your girl likes her sleep, okay? I like to get my beauty rest. Where are you, Prince Charming? And so for a lot of them, she said, it'll be about 20 minutes or 40 minutes from where you are gonna be working. She told me if it was a nice area, what that area is known for. Like, it was very, very informative, and hands down an amazing experience. So that's why, like, I highly recommend using a locator. Another thing that I didn't expect with using her service is that she gave me a rebate check for actually signing a lease. And then also, she gave me a little gift basket of after I signed the lease and like moved in. There was a gift basket waiting for me on my kitchen island with like little cleaning supplies, like just cute little stuff. I was like, this is adorable. Like she really went above and beyond. So one thing to note is that apartment locators should be free. You don't pay them anything. If you do have a locator that's charging you, I would side-eye to that. Theoretically, they get paid by the apartment complex after you sign the lease. I think they don't get paid until like 3 months or something down the line after you have moved in already. So it's not like they're getting the money up front. Just be mindful of that, of their time too. If you're using a locator, just follow up with them. Don't leave them hanging because they're doing it for free, basically. They're not getting money from you. And even when you sign a lease, just make sure to write their name down on your lease so they get credit for all that hard work. I had actually visited Dallas a week before I signed a lease. I saw about, I would say, over 12 apartments. I had an Excel spreadsheet of apartments that she had sent me that fit my criteria, and I ranked them from what I liked. I actually share the template with you guys too. That might be helpful if you like using Excel. You can even probably convert it into a Word document if that works better for you. Every apartment complex I visited to let them know, like, hey, Sherry from Legacy Locators is the one that I use, because sometimes they would ask you, but other times they didn't. So if they didn't, you know, I definitely made sure to volunteer the information anyway, just so that, because she worked hard to give me this information, so why not make sure they're aware of who's sending people to view the apartments. One that I was really interested in at first didn't work out for me. So because of that little hurdle, we had to revisit the drawing board and kind of view some other apartments. And what she did was she stayed up until like midnight and sent me a list. I was up, so because I was like really trying to see what else I would be interested in. When I saw that email come up, I think it was like 12:01 or something like that, I was like, what is she doing up? And so because she was up, she actually texted me like, hey, I just sent you an updated list. Let me know what your thoughts are. These are some recommendations that I had. She actually also tapped into her connections in the community as well to kind of ask for people's opinion regarding like what would be a good fit for me. If you don't have a job when you move, then more times than none, apartment complexes are going to want to see bank statements to see how much money you have in your account. So a better way to circumvent that is just to have a job when you move. So definitely, if you can apply to jobs, even if it's a work from home job, that they just need an offer letter. Really, most complexes are okay with that, and they're more lenient and flexible in that way. So yeah, Sherry, she worked her magic somehow. And, you know, with that list, the updated list, I was able to find an apartment that worked best for me. And when I say I am extremely happy with where I live now, it's literally everything I want and more. They even have like a dog wash station. Like, I don't have a dog, but okay, maybe I need to get a dog now. I just wanted to create this video for someone out there who is going through this experience currently, who's looking for resources on how to move to Dallas. So yeah, I definitely say contact Legacy Locators. I give them, if I had more thumbs, I don't want more thumbs, but 2 thumbs up, 5 stars for sure. They've earned every star on Google review. I can tell you from my personal experience, I enjoyed my experience with Legacy Locators. They're extremely professional, they're patient, they are caring, and they listen, which is super duper important. They don't have this agenda. They're really working hard to get the best apartment for you. And if you're in the market for a house, it seems like they also do real estate house locating as well. So again, I have nothing negative to say, only positive things. And I hope that this information helps someone out there, and I hope you guys have an amazing experience with them. All right, guys, that's the end of this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I wish you love, light, and healing. Mwah.